Richard has been in prison. In fact, he has been detained since the 7th of March. Yes. He was in Ikeja cell for, I guess, about 11 days. Then later moved to Ikoyi prison. When he was invited to Ikeja police station or whatever, he was told, he went there with his lawyer, and they were told that Juwon Davidson, that's Dike Olukoya's lawyer. Dike Olukoya, the general overseer of MFM Church. So his lawyer wrote a petition on behalf of Shade Sonny, who is the social media handler of Olukoya. They wrote a petition against Richard that Richard connived with one Adewale Ajimisogbe, a young guy, upcoming journalist from Okitipupa in Ondo State. That guy wrote an article about Dike Olukoya, and the title was, Olukoya is a criminal. He's the one behind illegal acts in MFM Church, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they claim that article is defamatory, and that Ajimisogbe is Richard's cousin. Richard is an ex-member, ex-MFM member. He was a lead singer in the church, a backup singer for Olukoya himself, okay? But he left a couple of months back. I mean, a few months ago. And then they claim that he's the one that sponsored Ajimisogbe to write that article against Olukoya. When Richard arrived at the cell, at the station, they called out the guy from the cell, that's Ajimisogbe, to come and identify if he knew Richard. He came out and the guy said he couldn't identify Richard. He said nobody sponsored him in that publication. I mean, the guy himself exonerated Richard, that he did it on his own. He's an upcoming journalist, and he just felt doing Olukoya's story will attract traffic to his page. That was what landed him in that trouble. Now, at that point, when that guy said he didn't know Richard, and that Richard didn't sponsor him, I mean, the normal thing to have done is to have released Richard. Anyway, they kept Richard in detention. He was in cell for several days. In spite of the fact that a judge gave a judgment. I mean, Justice Olutokun or Adetokun, I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact name, in the Ikeja High Court. He passed a judgment that Richard should be released with immediate effect, immediately. That was like a week after he was detained. They disobeyed the judge's order. They didn't release Richard. Instead, Richard was moved to Federal High Court, Ikoyi. This time around, Nigerian police force is suing Richard, and that Adewale Ajimisogbe, the guy that said he didn't know Richard. You see how they have been framing Richard? Since Richard left MFM, they've been framing him up in several allegations, several visits to say he's been detained before in Alagbon. You know, a lot of things. They've been torturing his life since he left that church. And I wonder, MFM is a church. MFM is not a court, according to them. If it's not a court, why do you go after members who leave your church? Why can't people walk into MFM church freely and then walk out freely? Anyway, the Nigerian police force is now suing Richard Ayotunde and Adewale Ajimisogbe that they defamed Olukoya. Look at what is going on in Nigeria. Anyway, while I'm here this evening, I just saw in the news that Very Dark Man is a Nigerian blogger too, who was detained about a little over a week ago. He was released today. And you know that guy's offense, why he was detained and put in the cell? He alleged, he accused Nigerian lawmakers and the police, the IGs and the top officers in the police. He accused them of being homosexual. That is it. Look at that serious offense. With no evidence. So that was why he was arrested. And now they've released him on bail. At least take him to court. And that's the normal thing. And that's what we have been saying. Meanwhile, MFM is saying Richard and Ajimisogbe defamed Olukoya. Even if they defamed him, why are you still keeping? For the last 14 days now, Richard has been in Ikoyi prison. In prison with hardened criminals. With all these frivolous allegations and lawsuits raised by the Nigerian police on behalf of Olukoya. Nigerian police force is suing these two guys on behalf of Dike Olukoya. And Dike Olukoya, today is Easter. You were in your church today, you preach. I wonder how you are still able to carry the Bible and preach with all that is going on in your church. It's a shame. What you are doing, what your people do, your representatives, your lawyers, those who are fronting for, what they are doing is bringing shame to Christendom in Nigeria.